I get a ton of drawing done actually on tour.
He works non-stop.
But, well, no, see, I delegated the driving authority to Donna because I don't know how to drive. I grew up in D.C. I don't need to drive through. So, and we got to listen to your screenplay.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. With like the 2 hours a day of laptop time that I did have, I finished my feature film screenplay. And when it was done, I read it to Steve and Donna. And they are the only two people who have ever heard it or even know what it's about. But it's live action and it's horror / comedy.
It's worth mentioning that I will have a screenplay going into production in the near future.
And, I promised them to never breathe a word to anyone of what it's about. So Donna emailed me a couple days after the tour was over, and she said, if anyone asks me about your screenplay, I will tell them it's about a guy who shits unicorns. Rainbows, I think. Unicorn-laden rainbows.
When are you going to see that movie?
Sounds
You wouldn't even be curious.
I don't think you're going to pay money to find out.
Really? I'd pay money to see just about anybody shit something out of their ass that isn't shit. So that's me.
Sharing a small space like a band for hours on end, how do you all get along with each other?
You know what? I would love to tell you, well, there are times when you just don't, and blah, blah, blah. Yes. I don't think there was one disagreement in the entire time. I did threaten to rape you, but I wasn't so much in disagreement.
Really, you would have no choice.
It's rape as opposed to.
No, I think that we all have, I mean, he hasn't toured us such, but we've all been doing this for a very long time, and you just build those mechanisms of how to relax and how to work with people, and we've all known each other forever.
You just have certain rules, like you really don't want to be the one asshole when everybody's tired and everybody's sick and somebody else has been driving on it. You don't want to be the one asshole in the back going, I'm tired.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't feel good. you kind of pick that up really fast. Like you just don't. No, everybody's tired. Nobody wants to hear
Every
it.
meal's a banquet. Every paycheck a fortune. Love the core.
Learn to just suck it up and not worry about it. And, if you're
well, I mean, not everybody gets that, which is why not everybody goes on another tour.
Right,
but yeah, you kind of get that everybody's miserable about something or other. We also had this wonderful mechanism, and now this is really where I'm going to open up a can of worms and then immediately seal it to really piss everyone off. But we had one band and maybe two individuals who we ragged on the entire time.
Our punching bag.
Yeah, they were just our punching bag. So like every 30 seconds,
it became the we hate blank the blank and the blank tour.
Yeah. Whenever the conversation got boring, like an hour would go by, no one's talking. I really fucking hate their music too. and it was just we just ragged and I could.
It brought us together.
Unified by our
I'm fairly certain that no one will ever breathe a word of who they were, but we fucking ragged on
at
least one band.
Obscure European band.
Sorry, Ichabod, but I'm just kidding. Ichabod's the promoter in Nashville, and he always does an amazing job. It was Gopal, actually.
I think I'll open it up for audience questions.
All right.
Or even just suggestions at this point.
Did you take off your pants?
Let's see.
They got nothing.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Validate us.
I really liked Luna Maris. Are you planning on doing another children's book?
Yes. I'm still kind of working out a couple of the details in my little pea brain, but yeah, at some point, I don't think I'm going to follow up Luna Maris. As much as I love the characters in it, I started to write something about it, and it just got too Disney. I kind of like. Actually, we've got Jack over there from Where the Wild Things Are, and I was thinking about that. I was like, you don't need to know more about that story. You don't need to know more about the characters that need to be developed more. It kind of works better when you don't. So I kind of want to leave those guys in their world. So yeah, I've got another thing that will happen at some point.
Bands and singers get weird things shouted at them all the time. But since this is Dragon Con, what's the weirdest thing you've ever had shouted at you?
Shouted, not shat, correct.
The most delectable morsel I've ever been shot at to me by far the single most annoying thing continues to be Freebird. Like, I didn't know why that was funny 10 years ago. I still don't know why it's funny. And people still do it. And like without fail, I'll be doing a show and someone will yell Freebird, and it's just like, at this point, not only have I never found that amusing, but at this point, I'm sure no one else does either. Like, so the person who yells that is just a complete douchebag.
We're actually going to put a version of Freebird in the backing tracks, and the next time somebody yells it, we're going to hit play and walk off stage. And 8 minutes later, we'll come back and be like, remember this next time. This guy's funny.
It's like a 20-minute song, isn't it?
Something like that.
We had a situation, not on this tour, but we did a show in DC one time, and it was a
Not one of my
complete clusterfuck, and everything was falling apart. So the PA blew up, like 2 songs into our set. So, and the sound guy was drunk and not there, and there's a bunch of people standing there waiting for something to happen, and nothing's happening. So Steve is trying to fix it, doing his very, very best to fix it, and some guy in the audience starts heckling. I don't even know what he said specifically, but Steve turns around, gets on the mic, and in all seriousness...
Steve was Gandhi-like passive.
Yes, people with me. Gets on the mic and goes, "I will come down there and fucking rape you!" The other half backed out of the room.
I'm really nice, and my switch is very far away, but you can't reach it. Fuck with me when I'm at work.
That was a great moment.
So a lot of performers talk about how they create a dialogue with their audience, and it's like the performance is a conversation. Did you guys get very different feelings about your different performances in different cities, and like which ones were better for different reasons?
This was an interesting mix on the tour, and on all the larger cities where more people have seen us, it made, I think the lineup made sense to them, but there were a few shows that we did that I think they were much more aware of Voltaire, and their idea of the goth scene and all of that was much more what he does. And so we get up there and we're on stage and we're like, oh, and you can just feel the audience going, "You're not funny. You're loud." And I'm not really sure what the Save Your Settings is all about. So, but otherwise, I mean, there's so many people that are so receptive to a lot of it.
It's
really
nice too,
nice.
because we've been on tour enough times now that we do see a lot of familiar faces when we go from city to city. Like we get friendly
And even on the same
people who
tour.
are just, we actually look forward to seeing a lot of people that come out consistently. So yeah, I mean, it's always, there's never anything that's really shocking as far as when you get in front of a new audience. Like I don't think we've ever had any.
As long as nothing gets thrown at us, we're fine.
Yeah.
I brought the tour poster so that I could refer to dates. The Baltimore show was the very first show of the tour.